In a world searching for truth, clarity, and divine direction, one voice continues to illuminate the path. Apostle Professor Kenneth Ebughe stands as a beacon of revelation, wisdom, and spiritual authority, impacting lives across nations through transformative teachings and prophetic insight. This is more than a message. It is an encounter.
Benefits of emotional intelligence in a believer's life. There are benefits of emotional intelligence in a believer's life. We've been dealing with the subject of emotional intelligence in the life of a believer. And our key verse is Proverbs 16, verse 32. The book of Proverbs 16, verse 32. It says, "He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city." Can we look at that in the NIV? Proverbs 16, verse 32. It's a better a patient man than a warrior. A man who controls his temper than one who takes a city. Emotional intelligence. And there are benefits of being emotionally intelligent. So benefit number one is it improves your relationship with God. Emotional intelligence improves our relationship with God. And remember that relationship is superior to service. Relationship to God is superior to service. So a man that is emotionally intelligent will have his relationship with God improve. And there are three things to show that a believer's relationship with God is improving. The first thing is you become more honest with your walk with God. You become more honest in your walk with God. When you are improving a relationship with God, you will find out that you will become very honest. Honest to yourself and honest to God. People who make excuses to justify iniquity are showing dishonesty. To take God for a ride or to try to play around God's intelligence, so to say, is evidence of dishonesty. In other words, people who use the name of God as a cover-up for financial gains are dishonest in their walk with God. They call the name of the Lord just as a cover-up, to get what they want from human beings. That is a cover-up. Now the second thing to show that your relationship with God is improving is you can better discern the voice of God over your emotions. So to show that your relationship with God is improving, you will be able to discern the voice of God over the voice of emotion. That means you will know when God is speaking as opposed to when your emotions are speaking. It will interest you to know that there are over 17 different voices that speak to us. And one of those voices is the voice of our emotions. I hear people say sometimes, the Lord said to me, the Lord said to me, the Lord said to me. Some of these things they say, the Lord said to me, it's not the Lord. I hear somebody tell me that the Lord said I should not use this kind of soap to bathe. I should use this one. I should not dress this. I should not wear this shirt. I should wear that shirt. God does not talk about illegal, irrelevant things, so to say. Things about your dressing, you are completely in charge of the way you want to dress. The choice of clothes you want to wear, you are the one in control of that. God is handling bigger matters, handling eternal matters. Hallelujah. And the third thing to show that your relationship with God is improving is you avoid acting impulsively in spiritual matters. You avoid acting impulsively in spiritual matters. That means you don't act in a hurry. Even if you are a hot-tempered person who doesn't have control yet, if your relationship with God is improving, first of all, there must be a control. You show your relationship with God is improving. And then secondly, to show that your relationship with God is improving, you don't take rash, hasty decisions, especially in spiritual matters. So, those are the three signs to show that your relationship with God is improving. The first sign is you become honest in your walk with God. The second thing is you can better discern His voice over your emotions. And thirdly, you avoid acting impulsively in spiritual matters. Now, the second benefit of emotional intelligence is it strengthens the fruit of the Spirit. Emotional intelligence strengthens the fruit of the Spirit. And remember, it is the fruit of the Spirit that show that you are born again. I said earlier, in an earlier episode, I said, it is not the demonstration of the gifts of the Spirit that show a believer who is born again, or a minister who is born again. It is the demonstration of the fruit of the Spirit that really show that you are born again. So how do you manifest the fruit of the Spirit? All right. So the second thing is it strengthens the fruit of the Spirit. And the fruit of the Spirit is already known: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Now, how does emotional intelligence strengthen the fruit of the Spirit? Three keys to show your emotional intelligence is strengthening the fruit of the Spirit in your life. The first thing is you respond instead of reacting. You respond instead of reacting. And we said it is better to respond to issues than to react. For instance, if somebody insults you and calls you an idiot, to react is to look at the person and say, you are a bigger idiot. That is reacting. But if somebody calls you an idiot, you say to the person, no, I am not an idiot. That is a sign that you are responding. And it is also an evidence of the fact that the fruit of the Spirit is working inside of you. Somebody says, you are a thief. You say, no, I am not a thief. Somebody says, you are a liar. And you tell the person, you are the one that is a liar. As a matter of fact, you are a liar and a thief. You are reacting. You are reacting. When it comes to emotional intelligence, we see a lot of believers and even ministers who are still very, 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 very immature. The second thing to show that the fruit of the Spirit is being strengthened by your dimension of emotional intelligence is you develop patience and self-control. You develop patience and self-control. Now, quote me, it is possible to wait without being patient, but it is not possible to be patient without waiting. What does that imply? It implies that when you say you are waiting for somebody and you are complaining while waiting, it's a sign that you are waiting but you don't have patience. But those who have patience, they wait without complaining. So it is possible to wait without being patient, but it is not possible to be patient without waiting. Now, the third thing to show that your emotional intelligence is strengthening the fruit of the Spirit in you is you reflect a Christ-like character. This is the bottom line. We reflect a Christ-like character when the fruit of the Spirit are strengthened and they are strengthened through emotional intelligence. Listen to this. The gifts of the Spirit work majorly through our spirit, but the fruit of the Spirit work through our emotions. Mighty God, mighty God. I'll say that again. The gifts of the Spirit walk through our spirit, but the fruit of the Spirit walk majorly through our emotions. The fruit of the Spirit walk through our emotions. That is one area in the human journey to development that is most times very slow. The area of emotional intelligence is a very slow journey. Very slow journey. But the journey to mental development can be very fast. Can be very fast. The journey to mental intelligence can be very fast. Some people learn quick, and they have strong retentive memory. They can quote a lot of things. They can cram a lot of things off heart. That means they are quick on the journey of mental development, but when it comes to the journey of emotional intelligence, they can be very slow. That is why you are easily irritated. There are some people that if you want to disorganize them, accuse them of doing what they never even intended to do. Accuse them falsely, you throw them off balance. They become demoralized. In fact, they become so irritated that they lose control. A lot of people insult them, puncture their ego, puncture their reputation. You see how their lives will be turned upside down. That is because their journey to emotional development is slow. Is slow. Is slow. These same people, they may have back PhDs in different fields. When you see VIPs fighting in public, using unguarded languages that are not meant for public consumption, you know that their journey to emotional intelligence is slow and long. They may have gone to all kinds of schools and acquired all kinds of degrees, but when it comes to this dimension of life, they're slow. That is why this subject of emotional intelligence is very crucial for everyone. For everyone, for politicians, for preachers of the gospel. We need to develop emotionally, because this is where the real test of Christian character, the Christ-like character, is demonstrated through our emotions. And it takes emotional intelligence to allow the fruit of the Spirit to operate, to work in us. Emotional intelligence is a very crucial subject. The Lord bless you.
For more life-changing teachings and updates, follow Apostle Professor Kenneth Ebughe on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Kenneth Ebughe TV. To watch or download the full video of this episode, visit YouTube at Kenneth Ebughe TV. Keep watching, keep growing, and keep walking in the fullness of divine truth.